The part that I want to focus on was the third piece that I taught on the training, and that was the sales system, the selling system, the marketing system that I am seeing working today. We are in a time where everybody is overwhelmed, overstimulated, and there's too much noise. I help people go from where they're at in their business to being successful. Well, you got to look at all the stuff they're being bombarded by, and you got to sound different. I want to share with you guys our brand new platform, our new offer. This is replacing my Expand program, and it's called Ignite.
Embodied CEOs don't chase trends. They pave the way. They lead from within, moved by purpose, unshaken by noise. When you are the source, you do not need permission.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. I hope you are having an amazing week. We are in October, which is wild. This is my favorite month of the year. It's my birthday month, which is also wild. It feels like it was just my birthday. It's also going to be fall, which goes into the holiday seasons. It's my favorite time of the year. So I'm excited. And it's Q4, which is like, how the hell is it Q4? Which I feel pumped about. I think Q4 is going to be our strongest quarter of the year. We have so many exciting things happening. I am coming at you from one of those weeks. It's one of those weeks where I swear to God, if there was somebody who followed me around and just recorded me during these weeks, I am like a crazy person. Like the amount that I have the capacity to pack into a week is wild. But here's the thing. I have found that I can now handle these really just packed weeks in terms of everybody needs something, every platform of messages has a bunch of them unread and waiting for me. There's things I need to review. I'm a bottleneck. There's stuff I haven't finished that I should have finished. I'm behind. But everything that has to get done gets done. And I've learned to really trust that. And also the non-negotiables. We've been talking about this in my mastermind, but it's during these crazy seasons where you've got a deadline. You're up against the deadline. You've got to hustle. You've got to really grind it out, which happens in business. And I actually love it because it's like you get it done. You figure it out. It's like we're shipping it on this date no matter what, period. But having your non-negotiables. So if I've hit this point where it's like I can have absolute chaos happening around me, everything from my kids' busy schedules to my training to the business and all these things happening. And my non-negotiables never waver, which for me is my training, my meditation practice of 45 to 60 minutes at minimum, soon as I wake up every morning, and then time connected and unplugged with my family. It doesn't matter what happens in a day. I never miss those three things ever. My training I may miss if I'm actually sick and made that decision, but I never miss it. So, if you followed me around this week, you'd be like, she's crazy. I'm running around every minute, doing something, packing it in. Yesterday, I did 2 webinars, which is a new record, which was so much fun and also so much energy output, so exhausting. And in between the 2 webinars, I went and did a CrossFit workout qualifier. I'm doing a qualifier for a big competition in January that I'm trying to qualify for. It's a big regional competition. I didn't actually make it last year. So my goal this year in 2025 was to make it. So it's a big deal. They're big workouts, 110% output, falling on the floor at the end of every workout. So I went and redid one of my workouts yesterday in between 2 webinars to improve my score. It's fun though. It's kind of like a fun game. I don't know. Sometimes I like having weeks like this where I'm like, wow, I really can play this game. Let's freaking go. So yesterday I taught my brand new training, the 2025 business model, and it was so good. It was oh my gosh, the content in it was a 3-part model. I'm not going to obviously teach it on here. If you guys want the replay, you can send me a message on Instagram and I'll send it to you. We'll have it up for a little bit more time. But I want to focus on one piece of the training and talk about it on here. And then share with you guys the new platform that we launched and a behind the scenes kind of share of the new platform, not just like, let me pitch it to you. I want to talk about it, but also talk about it from my perspective as a CEO. So the part that I want to focus on was the third piece that I taught on the training, and that was the sales system, the selling system, the marketing system that I am seeing working today. And I really sat with this model for a long time, like this whole year of testing different things. And it does blend a lot of things that I've already talked about and are important into one strategy. But here's the ultimate reality of what we all have to realize. You're going to have people who are going to say things like, I heard that it's really hard to get people to come to a webinar now, or, I've heard that digital products aren't selling as good, or I've heard that, things aren't working and it's hard. And I had this point on my webinar where I said, raise your hand if you feel like getting somebody to take an action or make a decision is harder than it ever used to be. And the chat was like crazy. People were like, oh my gosh, yes. And I'm like, even in my business, do I feel that? Like the last few years, you have to work so much harder to get people to do things that used to be really easy. That is all things from consuming content to taking an action and signing up for something for free, to attending it, coming to the webinar, participating in the challenge, engaging, to actually buying. And all those things just take more energy. Now we can sit here and we can say, oh, it doesn't work anymore. It's harder, wah. Or we can say, okay, why? Why is it like that? And what can we do to offset it? So somebody asked me on the webinar, they're like, do webinars still work? And I said, you're on a webinar. You're on a webinar right now. I got you here. I spent money on ads. I'm going to make well over what I spent on ads back in this launch. Yes, they still work. But what do we need to do to get them to work? And I'm definitely not saying everybody do webinars, but live experiences in general, funnels in general, digital products in general. So why is that the case that it's so hard to get people to make a decision? Couple of points. Number one, we are in a time where everybody is overwhelmed, overstimulated, and there's too much noise. There's too much noise. We're all like lacking time and capacity to consume. So what does that mean for a business owner? It's harder to get them to actually get your audience to actually consume what you're putting out. Okay, how do we overcome that? Well, we have to create more standout content. We have to go deeper with our messaging. We have to get more disruptive with what we talk about. We have to dig deeper and do better so that we can stand out, right? Because you're still going to stand out if you're the best. Okay, that's the first thing. People are overwhelmed. They're overstimulated. Too much noise. The second thing is the trust and the lack of trust people have in digital products and digital, businesses in general. And I think part of that comes from the saturation. There's so many options out there that you've got to be more convincing. I also think there's a lot of people who have had an experience of, I bought this thing and it was disappointing. It overpromised, it underdelivered, unfortunately. So you're up against that of having to convince people why your product or your service is not going to do that and is not that way. And so now if we understand, then the third thing is, which this kind of relates to the strategy, the sales strategy, which is the speed. People don't want information anymore. They want fast execution. They want fast results. We are in a time where people really value speed. Same day Amazon Prime delivery. At my fingertips is ChatGPT, and any answer I want, any information I need, fast speed. So if people want speed, then the way that we've previously been delivering things has to shift, meaning I'm not going to sit there anymore as a customer or even a lead and consume something that it would take me an hour to consume, but I could figure it out in 5 minutes. There might be some things that you need an hour to teach. Like my webinars were 1 hour and I got people on there, but I did something specific to do that. It's perceived, right? If someone perceives like, I don't need to go to that hour-long training to understand that thing because I could just go ask ChatGPT and figure it out, or watch a fast 5-minute video, or I don't really need that problem solved. Like that's not hitting it for me hard enough to actually get me to go take action. Or your products. If you sell a digital course, a digital product, and also services that require somebody to do a lot of work and it takes a really long time, and there's all this like filling out workbooks and all these things, it's like that's becoming a thing of the past because of AI. And I'm actually not talking about this part of the training. I did get into how AI is going to impact your product and or your service in the training I taught. So if you want to hear that, you got to get the replay from me. But I will say this. I talked about the fact that everybody wants things really fast. They want results really fast. And I got some pushback in the audience of people who are like, well, what if people have to do work? What if it isn't actually fast to get them the result that I get them, like losing weight, whatever. And that's valid, right? Like I help people go from where they're at in their business to being successful, which means launching a successful marketing strategy, building it, optimizing it, launching it, all the steps that are in that, your messaging, your foundation, your offer positioning, your content. Like there is a lot of work in that. So I'm not saying you don't have to do any work, and I'm not saying don't tell your people they don't have to do any work. Your job is to make it as easy as possible for them. And you now have access to so many other tools and ways to do that you need to adapt your business so it does that. Whether that's your free information that you're giving out in your freebie webinar lead magnet or your paid offer. Okay, so now we have an understanding of why we're here, why it is harder to get people to take action today. They're overwhelmed, they're overstimulated, there's a lot of noise, there's a lack of trust, and there's a desire for speed. So if we know this, we can now accommodate this into our strategy. So if we know people are overwhelmed, overstimulated, and there's so much saturation, how do you overcome that? If I was like, okay, I need to get people's attention and they're distracted and they are being bombarded with something, what would you tell me to do? Well, you got to look at all the stuff they're being bombarded by, and you got to sound different. You got to be different. You got to be authentic. You have to stand out. So how do you do that? Well, what are you going to say that's different than everybody else? What's your messaging? What's your beliefs? What's your values? How are you going to stand out? Okay. If you want somebody to sign up for your freebie, to sign up for your webinar, to consume your content, it's got to be better than the other things out there. How do you make something better? You dig deep into your expertise, your wisdom, your magic, which you have it. Don't tell me you don't. And you pull that out and you spend time actually creating messaging and creating a connection in your content that's going to do that. If people are lacking trust, how do you build trust with somebody? Does trust take time to build? Okay. Gone are the days of like add to cold traffic webinar buy. I mean, maybe 1 in 300 people will do that. But majority of people are not going to do that because they're lacking trust, because they're taking a bit longer to make decisions because they need to have that trust, and they're also overwhelmed, right? So they might want something, but they're like, I'll do it next week. I'll do it tomorrow. I can't start right now. So if that's the case, we need to have a strategy that's layered. We need to have a strategy that has so many touch points that people cannot forget about you and eventually will buy. And plays this like ecosystem concept, which is what I taught. I'm going to talk about it in this episode. So they're overwhelmed. We solved that with the fact that we're going to stand out and we're going to make it irresistible. Everything we put out, irresistible, high value. Okay. They're lacking trust. And then the other thing is speed. They want fast, they want results. So the way I've found to offset this is obviously make it as easy as possible for them to consume. But also the more specific you can get today with an outcome, the more valuable what you are creating and putting out is. Because general things like, here's how to, lose weight, it's like that feels so broad to me and like so overwhelming. And like I'd have to take in so much and so many steps that it's challenging. But if you tell me, here's the 3-day plan to get this specific result, or to lose your first pound, or to overhaul your meal plan, Now you're getting specific with me. Now I'm like, I can grasp that I could learn this quickly and get that fast result that I'm seeking. So we have to infuse all of this into our marketing strategy. And whenever you're in a situation where you're saying like X, Y, Z doesn't work, or this has changed, I always follow this process of let's first understand why. Let's first go back to why has it changed? What's the symptoms that have caused that? And let's address those root causes instead of just saying, well, shoot, I can't do a webinar anymore, or I can't sell a digital product, or AI is going to take my business. That's like the lazy way out, because we are in control of taking different actions. So the system that I taught yesterday that I believe almost every business will fit into, digital brand, is 3 parts to it. The first is an ongoing lead generation funnel. It is a simple download, a simple lead magnet, and then right on the thank you page, a tripwire or tiny offer. Some people call them, my friend Allie owns that trademark actually, tiny offer. Right on the thank you page. Now, I like structuring it this way because I don't like going ad to small price product to cold traffic, because I feel you usually waste a lot of money trying to get traffic to pay attention to that. And you need leads. You actually need emails on your list and you need leads. So I like to do opt-in, something specific, lead magnet, something that is relevant today. It solves a specific problem. It's attractive. It's different than what's out there. It's better than what's out there. Right on the thank you page is a $7 to $27 offer. The goal with this is it's going to offset some of your ad cost. So now we're checking the box of we're getting consistent leads every day if we're running ads to this, and we are even paying for some of the ad costs for these leads. So now we've got consistency, we've got people coming into our world, it's costing us less. We're seeing quality buyers because some of them are buying. We know they might buy our bigger offer. In the future and down the road, you can add something like an upsell or an order bump and add to that. That's great, but keeping it simple to start. Now, the key with this is that it's a very specific offer, and the tripwire tiny offer is also very specific. Solves a specific problem. And remember those points about speed. People want the result fast. Now, this model most people can fit into. Where it becomes custom is what those offers are and how they fit into your marketing strategy. So that's the first part. And then the second part is using live experiences, live launches to sell your bigger offer. And then the third part is you take that core offer and you infuse it into your evergreen strategy. So now you've got like this ecosystem working, and you pair that with content. And now you've got your 30 plus touch points happening. You've got leads coming in every day. You're covering some of that ad cost. You've got a core offer that some of those leads are being driven to. Every 3 months, maybe a little bit more right now, but every 3 months at least, you're doing a live launch. What that live launch is totally depends on you, your ideal customer, and really how you can create the best experience for them today. It could be a workshop, it could be a challenge, it could be a series, it could be where you answer people's questions and you do a really fun, like engaging series. Get creative with that piece, but that drives to your core offer. So now we've got consistency, we've got leads coming in that we can sell now and in the future. And then we've also got these live launches that are surges of sales. And now when we do these live launches, we are both inviting all the leads we've brought in, all the traffic we're building, and new people, because sometimes people need to participate in multiple live launches before they decide to buy from you. So, honestly, it's like, I'm not teaching a complicated strategy. This is not, some new secret ninja hack. I've never taught that because that doesn't exist, but it's really looking at your business and your marketing through that lens of, okay, if people are overwhelmed, if people are lacking trust and they need connection and they want speed, I need to accommodate my entire strategy to accomplish that. So I need multiple things working towards my sales. I need content and nurturing that is going to be consistent, so I'm always top of mind and that content stands out from everybody else. And I've got these layers working for me. And everything in there, from the lead gen to what the live launch is, to the tiny offer, to the core offer, the messaging has to be dialed in and it has to solve a specific problem. Now, I talked a lot more in the training about how to infuse AI into it and make that happen in your lead gen and your tiny offer and your core offer. So you can listen to that in the replay. But I want you to be thinking about how you could put your business into this type of a structure, because it creates that consistency and the sales. And I think everybody is going to need that evergreen strategy. And because ads have gotten more expensive, we've got to try to pay for some of those ads. So we're going to need that. And then we need the live launches. There's people out there who will tell you, like, you never have to live launch. They're so exhausting. They convert better. Like, every single time, the engagement in a live engaged experience is going to convert better. So if you want the best chance for the highest sales conversion, you got to do some live launches. Not every month, but you got to do live launches. And then probably the hardest part of the whole thing is getting your core offer to convert in your automated strategy. That takes some refinement and really takes nurturing the leads, because a lot of them are not going to buy the first time they see your offer. And I think that's where a lot of people are going wrong. It's like they've got this funnel and you're sold this idea of, let me launch this evergreen webinar funnel and it's just going to start producing sales for me. And then it doesn't work like that. And then they feel like their whole marketing isn't working. And it's really just because you haven't fit the model that your business has to fit in today's climate. And if we need to create 30 plus touch points, one of the best things to create that touch point is really good content, email content, podcast or video content, social content. And so in the training, I also talked about how this fits in and is a nurture strategy versus a conversion and growth strategy. So get the whole training, because that has all that in there. But start thinking about this as your sales strategy. Finally, I want to share with you guys our brand new platform, our new offer. This is replacing my Expand program, and it's called Ignite. And it's essentially an all-in-one marketing system blended with coaching. So with this system I just explained of lead gen, tripwire, core offer, what it does is it plugs your business into that marketing strategy, and the platform itself writes all of your copy, creates all of your video scripts, helps you with your ad targeting, every single step. We also have ad trackers, or actually entire funnel trackers in there. That's probably my favorite part, because nobody ever knows their numbers. And I've always wanted to have a software that has it all already laid out and what the numbers should be, and shows you how to pull them, and then gives you real-time feedback of like what's red, what's yellow, what's green based on your goals. So that's in there, which is super cool. It tracks all the way through like live show up rate, email stats. It's crazy cool. So basically the way it works is you come in and you answer all of these specific questions about your business and your ideal customer, what makes you different. They're like my proprietary questions that I pull out of you, all of that depth. The platform generates your messaging strategy for you. Then you have a one-on-one strategy call where we take that and information on your business and we come up for you all those specifics that matter to customize this strategy. So like what your lead gen offer is, what your tripwire offer is, what your core offer is, what your bonuses in your live launch are going to be, what goes on the thank you page of your funnel, all those little details that trip people up, because it's like, I could do this or I could do this. So we come up with that for you in a one-on-one strategy call so that it's a fully custom strategy to your business that can be plugged into the system. Then you start going through the process. You launch a visibility ad, you develop a content strategy, the system develops it for you. We do your ad copy and creative. You build out your lead gen funnel. The system does all your landing page copy, all your email copy. You have access to our new white labeled Go High Level platform. So all the funnel templates, you get free access to that. So all the funnel templates are in there. You get your lead gen live, you start tracking it, start optimizing it, you start working on the live launch experience. Same thing, the platform writes all your copy, all your emails. your video scripts. We do the ad copy and the creative. You launch it with our step-by-step trainings, and then you optimize the live launch. And then after that whole process, you have another strategy call that we go, okay, let's look at the live launch data. Let's look at the lead gen data. Let's make a new lead gen funnel, or let's do a new live launch based on this and kind of reset. Throughout all this, you maintain the coaching that we had in Expand, which is 6 coaching calls a week, from ads coaching calls, messaging calls, strategy calls, tech calls. So it's really this blend of like a software, a system that's going to do all these things that you previously had to do. And here's where it's very different than like ChatGPT writing your copy. I have hundreds of converting opt-in pages and webinars and emails, and I know exactly, like, you need 5 invite emails for your webinar and this many nurture emails and this many reminder, and like, this is the strategy behind it. So that's all programmed into what the system creates. And then all of the copy is being based off of your messaging strategy that we create as the first step in the platform, which most people are lacking that in-depth messaging strategy. So it's really programmed with like so much of my own content and my own knowledge, so that when it writes the copy, it's strategic, sounds like you, but matches what we know already works. And then what you can do is you take that copy and like get the last 10-15% of it finished and over the line by having a live coach review it. And actually our messaging strategists look at it, tweak it, and help you finalize it. So this is now a 6-month program. We're currently offering founding member price, which is only $7.97 a month for 6 months. And then there's a pay in full option. It will never be this price again. This is only for founding members coming in. So if you're interested, we want to talk to you first, because we are backing the entire program by 100% guarantee, success guarantee, that if you go through the 6 months, you implement, you do what we say, you follow our coach's guidelines, you implement every step. I mean, if you know me, you know I'm like to-do list, like here's the next step, here's the next phase. You implement all that and you don't see results, you stay in for free until you do. So we want to make sure it's the right fit for your business. So you can go to embodiedmarketing.com/ignite, jump on a call. We'll see if it's the right fit. And here's the thing, like if you're like, oh, I already have a lead gen, or I've done a live launch, or here's where I'm at. That's why we do that strategy call, because we customize it for your business. Let's say you're a service business. You need to lead people to booking a call. That changes your funnel just a little bit. So we come up with the customization and the tweaks, and then we plug that into the system that creates all the assets for you. So on the behind the scenes side, I have been working on this for months. I am super proud of it. You guys know I did like a mini version of this, I don't know, 4 months ago now. And that taught me a lot. Components from this are getting put into the mini version because they're now stronger, because I learned a lot. I built it differently this time. Some of the no code AI tools are great, but they're great for like 80% of the way there. And then you need a developer, and you need someone who knows code and can have a really solid back end. So, I mean, it's basically a software product, and I'm really proud of it. And it was cool creating it, because one of the things as I was creating it, I was going through like all the steps that somebody would need to do and breaking it down. And I created the entire experience. Like I designed this, I built it, I built out the steps, and then I used a developer for the tech pieces. But as I was creating it, I was like, this is so cool, because compared to Expand, there's like way less content that somebody has to go through, because I used to have to teach you like how to write a good sales page, or all the launch emails that you need to write, or how to choose your bonuses. And now it's like, we either do it for you with our strategist, or the system does it for you. So there's so much less content that you have to consume. There still is a little bit of content, and it's all fresh, re-recorded content from me on like webinars, your content strategy, your tripwire offer. Like every piece has something, but it's a lot less. And then we have ad setup trainings. But it was cool. And I think it really is in line with the way that I see digital products and services going, is you're just making it as easy as possible for the user to go through it. And so now, you know, in Expand, you used to have to write your funnel copy and write your email copy and build your emails and do these things that took time. And that was the biggest holdup. I mean, Expand's an incredible program and we've gotten incredible results for hundreds of businesses. But that was the part that people would get overwhelmed and tripped up by, is like the work that they had to do in it. So now with this platform, I've been able to make it so much easier, so much simpler, and less work for people, which is super exciting. So if you want to check it out, embodiedmarketing.com/ignite. There is like screenshots of the back end and more details on that page. And then you can book a call and lock in founding member pricing, which we won't have available for too long. And it will never be that price again. We're going to raise that price up. And you get access to our Go High Level white label. So you don't even need to pay for a landing page software if you don't want to. If you have one, we can adapt to it and you can use the templates in your own software. But yeah, so I am proud of it. I am excited. We set a deadline that felt impossible to launch it, but we did it. I'm so proud of my team. And just proud to hopefully, it feels like, be leading the way in kind of the direction that I see digital products going, and programs and courses. And even our agency's got some stuff coming out more on the internal side. I think if you're a service business, a lot of what you're going to build doesn't necessarily impact the client you're delivering the service on, because they already don't do a lot of work, but your team and how they deliver it and the efficiency. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Happy October. It's going to be a good quarter. It's going to be a good month. I hope this episode got you thinking about your marketing strategy. And if you were on my training, you enjoyed the 3 parts. I really packed it in. It was a fun training, and I'll talk to you all next week.